Constitution of India, Chapter 11, Parliament, Article 79 to 88. Article 79, Constitution of Parliament. There shall be a Parliament for the Union, which shall consist of the President and two houses to be known respectively as Council of States and House of the People. Article 80, Composition of the Council of States. The Council of States shall consist of 12 members to be nominated by the President in accordance with the provisions of Clause 3, and not more than 238 representatives of the states and of the Union territories. The allocation of seats in the Council of States to be filled by representatives of the states and of the Union territories shall be in accordance with the provisions in that behalf contained in the fourth schedule. The members to be nominated by the President under subclause A of Clause 1 shall consist of persons having special knowledge or practical experience in respect of such matters as the following, namely literature, science, art, and social service. The representatives of each state in the Council of States shall be elected by the elected members of the Legislative Assembly of the state in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. The representatives of the Union territories in the Council of States shall be chosen in such manner as Parliament may by law prescribe. Article 81, Composition of the House of the People. Subject to the provisions of Article 331, the House of People shall consist of not more than 530 members chosen by direct election from the territorial constituencies in the states and not more than 20 members to represent the Union territories chosen in such manner as Parliament may by law provide. For the purposes of subclause A of Clause 1, there shall be allotted to each state a number of seats in the House of the People in such manner that the ratio between that number and the population of the state is so far as practicable the same for all states, and each state shall be divided into territorial constituencies in such manner that the ratio between the population of each constituency and the number of seats allotted to it is so far as practicable the same throughout the state, provided that the provisions of subclause A of this clause shall not be applicable for the purpose of allotment of seats in the House of the People to any state so long as the population of that state does not exceed 6 millions. In this article, the expression population means the population as ascertained at the last preceding census of which the relevant figures have been published. Provided that the reference in this clause to the last preceding census of which the relevant figures have been published shall, until the relevant figures for the first census taken as the year 2026 have been published, to be construed for the purposes of subclause A of Clause 2 and the proviso to that clause as a reference to 1971 census, and for the purposes of subclause B of Clause 2 as a reference to 2001 census. Article 82, Readjustment after each census. Upon the completion of each census, the allocation of seats in the House of the People to the states and the division of each state into territorial constituencies shall be readjusted by such authority and in such manner as Parliament may by law determine, provided that such readjustment shall not affect representation in the House of the People until the dissolution of the then existing House. Provided further that such a readjustment shall take effect from such date as the President may, by order, specify, and until such readjustment takes effect, any election to the House may be held on the basis of the territorial constituencies existing before such readjustment. Provided also that until the relevant figures for the first census taken after the year 2026 have been published, it shall not be necessary to readjust the allocation of seats in the House of the People to the states as readjusted on the basis of 1971 census, and The division of each state into territorial constituencies as may be readjusted on the basis of 2001 census under this article. Article 83. Duration of House of Parliament. The Council of State shall not be subject to dissolution, but as nearly as possible, one-third of the members thereof shall retire as soon as may be on the expiration of every second year, in accordance with the provisions made in that behalf by Parliament by law. The House of the People, unless sooner dissolved, shall continue for 5 years from the date appointed for its first meeting, and no longer and expiration of the said period of 5 years shall operate as a dissolution of the House, provided that the said period may, while a proclamation of emergency is in operation, be extended by the Parliament by law for a period not exceeding 1 year at a time, and not extending in any case beyond a period of 6 months after the proclamation of that ceased to operate. Article 84. Qualification for the membership of Parliament. A person shall not be qualified to be chosen to fill a seat in Parliament unless he is a citizen of India and makes and subscribes before some person authorized in that behalf by the Election Commission or an oath or affirmation according to the form set out for the purpose in the third schedule. Is in the case of a seat in the Council of States not less than 30 years of age, and in the case of a seat in the House of People not less than 25 years of age, and possesses such other qualifications as may be prescribed in that behalf by or under any law made by Parliament. Article 85. Sessions of Parliament, prorogation and dissolution. The President shall from time to time summon each House of Parliament to meet at such time and place as he thinks fit, but 6 months shall not intervene between its last sitting in one session and the date appointed for its first sitting in the next session. The President may from time to time prorogue the Houses or either House, dissolve the House of the People. Article 86. Right of President to address and send messages to Houses. The President may address either House of Parliament or both Houses assembled together, and for that purpose require the attendance of members. The President may send messages to either House of Parliament, whether with respect to a bill then pending in Parliament or otherwise, and a House to which any message is to send shall with all convenient dispatch consider any matter required by the message to be taken into consideration. Article 87. Special address by the President. At the commencement of the first session after each general election to the House of the People, and at the commencement of the first session of each year, the President shall address both Houses of Parliament assembled together and inform Parliament of the causes of its summons. Provision shall be made by the rules regulating the procedure of either House for the allotment of time for discussion of the matters referred to in such address. Article 88. Rights of Ministers and Attorney General as respects Houses. Every Minister and the Attorney General of India shall have the right to speak in and otherwise to take part in the proceedings of either House, any joint sitting of the Houses, and any committee of Parliament of which he may be named a member, but shall not by virtue of this article be entitled to vote.